helmet is thrown. Another helmet. That's 2. And he is still hot. And there were probably been a few more helmets, but those were the only 2 on the step. And he's not going to leave. And they will not start this ball game until Bobby Cox leaves the dugout. And he is still arguing with home plate umpire Larry McCoy. When you get thrown out of a ball game,
look at Brinkman stolen up from the other side.
He's not going to leave.
You know, if they want to, they could give the Yankees this ball game for Bobby not leaving. That
he probably feels like that they already have.
All he's got to do is go up the runway anyway and continue to manage. I'll just stop right there and turn around it.
Now the 0-2 on the way. Throw back to first by Fitzgerald. Threw it away into right field. Treadway will be waved around third. Here's the throw by Marquise Grissom. Treadway in there safely. Gant moves to third.
Let's see if that was a strike 3. Yes, all that doesn't count.
And credit Tim Wallach with picking that up. I don't know if Fitzgerald was aware of it or not. Now Bobby Cox is going to come out and argue. And I think he's been ejected from the game because I don't think a manager is allowed to come out and argue on a 3rd strike. So for the 2nd straight day, Bobby Cox, I believe, is going to take an early shower.
And that one just misses. So Dykstra's first time up, he got 3 borderline pitches, all for called strikes. And this time, he doesn't get any borderline pitches, all for called balls. And Avery now has a word for Larry Vanover, and Bobby Cox is going to come out and try to settle down his young left-hander.
And get a word in to Larry Vanover. Better not get too many words in. You're not allowed to argue balls and strikes.
Where does he say, Phil, about
out of here?
Gone. Bobby Cox, gone. You can't argue balls and strikes. So Bobby Cox has been ejected here in the 2nd inning. In the 3rd inning, excuse me.
He's got it, you know, he got it off his chest, but he's going to be in the clubhouse the rest of the game.
Position starter for Atlanta had at least a hit. Now, Glavine looks like he gets a strike here to Brad Ausmus, but he's awarded first base. Does it hit him? Bill Welke says it hit him, gives Ausmus first base. Bobby Cox is a short fuse and a salty tongue, and now he gets to watch the game from somewhere other than the bench. You're not
third. Get out real quick before they change their mind. Top 3rd, Helling facing Henry Blanco. Blanco thinks maybe that's a little high. Oh, Cox also doesn't agree. In fact, Bobby's so mad he could spit. Of course, to spit, you got to get out to the tobacco. He's mad at Angel Hernandez. He gonna get run. As for his pitcher, Greg Maddux.
So watch closely. Oh! All right. Jones thinking about it, you know. He's going to go out there. Benches will clear. Oka tossed immediately. Jones would not return. A bruise around his ear and his cheek. You can listen up.
Oh, man.
It caught mostly the helmet and the ear flap. Now, you have to protect this man. Chris Hammond comes back, hits Brad Wilkerson, the rookie. Hammond gets tossed. So immediately, you get one for the other.
37 degrees. Gary Sheffield facing Randy Wolf. Top 5, 3-2 pitch. Kerwin Danley rings him up. Then when he argues, throws him out. And then Bobby Cox, you go away too. Larry Boa serving a 1-game suspension for misbehaving during spring training.
That's all season. 1 earned in his last 14. And Maddux, hey, we're going K-zone. That's called a ball.
Doing well.
And Greg says something smells bad in here. Change-up called the ball. He walks Luis Gonzalez, and he ain't happy. He wanted the corner, so he blows something. A gasket, perhaps? Tony Randazzo. That's how I feel, Tony. And then Bobby Cox says, yeah, I smell it too. Tossed.
Down to Adam Dunn. Maddux thinks he's got strike 3. Bill Welke says it's a ball. Maddux doesn't like it. Bobby Cox doesn't either. And Welke runs Bobby. And Bobby runs out to step on home plate. Said it hit right there. Bottom 4, Maddux
3rd, 4 Reds down 1, Barry Larkin. He is walked by Mike Hampton, and you see how close that is? Bobby Cox, he thinks the pitch is closer than you think it is. 2 batters later to a tie to 3, Ken Griffey Jr. In the box, Hampton walks him. That loaded the bases. Bobby Cox comes out to get Hampton, who walked 3 and threw 34 pitches in the inning. Cox is ejected for the 5th time this season, 2nd game in a row. And happy birthday, Bobby, you're 62.
Long facing David Bell, who swings and strikes out. At least that's what Marty Foster says. But Bell says, hey, wait a minute, man. I tipped that ball into the dirt. That's not strike 3. Larry Boa says, hey, man, I need some home cooking. We've lost 7 of 11, and gets it from Field and Colbreth, who says, let's take another look, because I do believe that Bell is telling the truth, and you can see that he was. And so Bobby Cox comes out and says, hey, what's up? And Colbreth says, well, you're out. 6th time this season that Cox has been showing the shower.
Top 3 scoreless runner on first. Mike Hampton will pick off Henry Mateo at 2nd, but Hampton is called for a balk, which brings Bobby Cox out to argue, which, you know, Bobby's like a prosecuting DA. He argues all the time. Watch it again. Hampton's foot supposed to go to first. You be the judge. Home plate umpire Phil Cuzzy calls balk. Cox goes back to the dugout. What, isn't he supposed to get, like, tossed? He's Bobby Cox. Same at bat. Jeremy Carroll, hot shot to short for call can't handle. Mateo scores. Oh, Bobby. Oh, Bobby. Here comes Bobby Cox. Gone. There you go. For the 7th time this year.
In Colorado, where the Rockies just finished sweeping the Marlins, all very neat and clean, but as you can imagine, the folks in Atlanta a little hot. Oh, Gary Sheffield rung up, and then a couple of words, and you're gone. Well, naturally, Bobby Cox, he's going to come out and get an early tee time. He's run for the 8th time this season. That guy, he gets thrown out about half the time.
Facing Brett Myers, Mike Lieberthal. Lieberthal's going to catch Marcus Giles stealing 3rd, but Giles has an argument with umpire Chuck Merriweather, and he's not the only guy coming out to argue. Here comes Bobby Cox. Cox, gone. Take another look. Does Cox have a point? The play very close at 3rd. You know, this is the 9th ejection for Bobby Cox this season. 6 of his 9 ejections coming in the first 3 innings. 5 of his 9 ejections coming in Maddox's starts.
Could have been arrested for loitering. Looks at strike 3. Giles didn't like the call, argued with the home plate ump. He got run. He's going to lose that argument every time. Then Bobby Cox comes out to argue. This man gets tossed more than the rosin bag.
He gets salty.
Bottom 5, White Sox up 8-1. Willie Harris batting. Questionable call there on ball 4. Bobby Cox at least doesn't look pleased, and then he's going to get really upset. And Greg Gibson says, you're gone. So was Juan Uribe. Who cares? Sox win at 10-3. Cox ejected.